Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Russian cast, and today we're having a look at a game played on the Korean server, played by Bulldog. This is Kwangdong Freak's mid laner, and of course he is playing in the LCK, and he has been playing the champion lately. He has been playing Karma. So we're going to dive into a game of his that I just loaded up, and of course all my time controls have been reset, of course, as always. Ay, what is this, Riot? Alright, this one should be fine. Now we need to pull up the scoreboard. Brother. There we go. And, ooh, we are looking. Okay. So, we are looking. So, topside invade. Right now in this time, it's actually not a bad idea to kind of check out the invade routes. Because, of course, with the new map come new invade routes, and I see that invades have gone down a lot. So, why the hell would I not do my bit of work towards doing what I hate the most, that is cheese. So if you want a cheese, now you have an invade route. It's always a little bit harder to get those in until popular knowledge. Okay, so Viego starting out with a kill here already, but that's fine, of course, for mid lane. We're gonna look at mid lane here. Okay, so Karma already, this is very important. A couple of things before we start out, right? So number uno, we have Viego getting a kill. This, of course, is going to accelerate him into a very, very strong recall, right? As now he has the ability to recall on a Noon Quiver, which which will increase his speed at clearing camp stun later on, and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to get back into a longsword here already, but that, of course, would be also absolutely amazing. All right, we are spotting Lee Sin out, right? And then you see what Karma does here. This very important. Multiple reasons, really. Number one, Aurelian's early game is not the craziest, okay? That one, for sure, is an easy one. Number two, though, this is a way to gain control of the mid lane versus a champion that might have better pushing power. So usually you can see this in, for example, Syndra Victor matchups, in these kind of matchups where you want to get push early on, so you get less poked less, so because the enemy has to focus on the minions, right? So you want to get poke. I mean, there's more reasons than this one, right? But a lot of great perks come with having lane control in mid lane and pushing, much less in top lane, right? So if you're watching this for mid lane POV, this will allow you to get a lot of control. Specifically, we want to do this versus control mages. This would be like the overall thing. The champions I do this against almost always, even if it's a bit risky, would be something like Xerath, right? Because Xerath will aim to poke you out hella at level 2. And so it's probably a good idea to always guarantee a push here. And Karma doesn't have the best wave control. If we compare wave control of, for example, Karma here versus the wave control of a Victor, right? Victor would be able to hit backline minions, would be able to hit the backline minions and the champion and gain wave control through that. As we, of course, want to focus our direct camera onto the Karma here. Or we just go into a manual camera. I think that one's a bit better even. But yeah, you can see here, right, that the Karma is kind of creating a push, right? And then on level 2, looking to poke, looking to trade already. Of course, that shield, usually people go for their shield level 2. I would not go that versus some melee champions, but versus most of them, the shield is just going to give you the beneficial trades a lot of the time. So here, this allows us now to poke out under tower, right? That is, of course, amazing. And it's very important that you use your time well on lane as Karma. as of course your late game scaling is not going to be the craziest. Your mid game is absolutely wild though. So don't feel like this champion is only a level 3 champion, right? Your mid game is absolutely bonkers. 2 and 3 item power spikes are ridiculous. 1 item power spike also quite impressive already. So yeah, don't underestimate it, guys. As right now, we are kind of having the wave still push in, right? This is the kind of gameplay that is not very tricky. It's not very complicated to maneuver. Specifically also in the Aurelion Sol matchup. But Aurelion Sol, of course, is a champion that is also capable of kind of neutralizing lanes a lot. Aggressive lanes. And yeah, well, we would want that, right? We would want that for sure. As you can see here, Viego buying a very weak item. This is not the best item he could build. If you look at the stats of the components of this item and then the item itself, kind of suboptimal. It is what it is. As of course, Karma taking very strong trades here in the mid lane again, running that area, which is of course according to kind of her mission. And her mission, if you want to sum it up very simply, is use your ultimate on cooldown, push every wave, try to poke under tower, deal as much damage as possible, and soak as much attention as possible. Lee Sin Q hits, but Lee Sin knows this Karma is not playing around. If he stays like that, you know someone might be hovering. Okay, so how's the lane look? 20 CS to 31. Aurelion Sol going for the recall. Stop here. Very good idea. As you see, Karma says, well, that is too bad. Now you've made me exit trade. Karma still has her teleport, so whenever things get clutch, can just port back anyway, but will regain control of the wave. This will, though, make things a little bit easier for the Aurelion Sol. Aurelion Sol realistically doesn't really have any combat stats either. He just got a tier of the goddess. And this is kind of a decision that I've been making quite a bit as well, is if I'm losing lane versus something like a Karma, I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to scale. Lately, I've kind of changed my mind on that. Lately, I've kind of decided, oh, you know what? Yeah, you are beating me, so now I have to be even more item efficient. And what I've started doing is I've started going for maybe Lost Chapter into like different item power spikes. So, for example, a Storm Surge then. So Lost Chapter into Storm Surge and then finish Caster's Companion like second or third. Because Caster's Companion really not the most amazing item. And to me, something like Storm Surge can feel more valuable. And then I can have a approximation of their power spike with what I have. But, of course, Karma will return here. Karma will return here to lane in order to kind of mess with the Lee Sin. Lee Sin will grab the Void Grubs though. And let's be honest, Void Grubs, not the end-all be-all objective. I have to convince myself of that, because it definitely doesn't feel like it, but who likes giving up stuff, right? But this is definitely an objective that you can give up. Also notable, of course, Karma has a freeze set up here. So whenever fighting occurs right now, minions are just being mass deleted, basically, for the blue team here. So that is really favorable for Karma, of course, because, well, if you're fighting against Aurelion Sol, you kind of just want to prevent him to be able to kill minions, and specifically, you want him to be able to not kill minions in a burst, right? Because that gives him the most Stardust. So, yeah. For the trades, of course, I mean, yeah. For the trades, of course, Karma not necessarily the champion that can threaten if a wave is still up. So that's why you see a lot of pressure onto the wave. We go for the root, we go for the ultimate Q, and that is the basic combo that you want to use. As you root them, then you RQ them at a certain point, which will slow them for your W and also deal, of course, the aftershock damage. And you can see here already Aurelion Sol getting bullied out pretty hard. I mean, let's be honest though, this Aurelion Sol skin is absolutely amazing. How could you lose with this? I know, newsflash, right? Skins don't give you skills. I mean, to be fair, for Aurelion Sol, this is a very hard one, right? Karma is just a very, very strong lane bully in the early parts. But make no mistake, later on, of course, Aurelion Sol is going to be one of the main damage sources for his team. Karma, not so much. But yeah, you can see here, right, Aurelion very good at stalling the wave, but as soon as the wave hits now, Karma has... Well, Karma is able to establish a lane kingdom here again, looking for that QR. We're just going for a Q. Very good. This is something that you'll have to learn if you want to play Karma to the maximum. Ooh, big shutdown going over to the enemy team. It's almost like this item is completely worthless in comparison to other options. Yeah, I'm still a Kraken Slayer enjoyer on Viego, for sure. It is important to point out that Viego doesn't really like the Lee Sin matchup. Lee Sin is capable of, ooh, very good flash Q into the auto attack there. Actually, very good damage judgment for having played this pick like once or twice. And this is a new feature. You can kind of proxy, right? The thing that you would do in top lane often is after killing your enemy, like you kind of clear the wave a little bit faster. Yeah, it's happening. All right, Karma will take a recall. 2 plates going over to her without, this is of course, that's very important, right? Without any void grubs. Void grumps, yes. I don't know why that name is throwing me for a loop, but yeah. So those, of course, would help out even more, and you can get a lot of plates through this. Aurelion Sol, probably the mage with least early game power. This is very important to note, right? So Karma kind of fits more into his weaknesses. Okay, as we will take a Lee Sin down. Take down the Blind Monk, and you can see here, this Karma is just following around now. It's actually kind of fine if you have second move sometimes. So you can kind of be a little bit more reactive just because of that consistently higher movement speed through the shield. Yeah, wave clear, kind of weird. The Q does have a considerable hitbox. But of course, it's also not the best. You can see here, Bulldog going for that route into RQ combo. It's kind of just how you play Karma if you have the stats to get the route through, right, and win the trade still. You can also go for an RW, but this is mainly going to be used to restore HP, right? And Karma, very good matchup right now in the meta as well. Not gonna have the best time versus certain champions, right? I think Corki would be, for example, a champion that can kind of defend rather well against her. Talking about the Vel defense, I think Vel'Koz also can have a good time. And you can see that Bulldog kind of stopped focusing onto the tower here and onto himself and trying to help out a little bit more around the map. And he is going to drive... He's going to drive the enemy team into the Viego here. So there is the potential for, yeah, Viego picking up a kill onto the Lucian. That is really good. It's a shutdown going over. What has Aurelion Sol done? In the meantime, he's pushed a wave and he's recalled. I know, it's crazy. As now the 5-man stack has arrived in the bot lane. Lee Sin kick and Karma might go down. Will he get a 1-for-1 trade though? Viego coming in late, and that means that, yeah, once this Lee Sin goes down, Aurelion Sol goes down too, and Karma did survive. A lot of stalling tools, and this is exactly what Karma is so amazing at. If you have a very strong, like, carry type jungler like the Viego, absolutely amazing for Karma, as Karma is just able to generate a lot of pressure. So she works very well with different kinds of junglers even. Like, she works out with the control type junglers like the Trundle, like the Kindred, like these champions. She works pretty well with these more Viego, Bel'Veth, these kind of teamfight reset junglers, of course, that makes a lot of sense too. As mid lane now will be taken, all the plates will be taken down off of the tower. Which is a very good situation here for the red team, of course. Quite a bit of money. There is still a strong seesaw on the money, as many shutdowns have been given over, but Thunder Sky here coming in for the Viego. Viego extremely strong right now. And of course, with that Meligma, Karma absolutely dominant. Okay, so this is kind of the worst case scenario for the Karma Q. But you will see Karma Q deals a lot of damage. And this game at this point already is very, very scary. But I'm going to refrain from calling a game like this over because in the current meta, ooh, very good. You can see how the Malignance still tagged him slightly. And if the ult just tags him slightly, the Malignance field is going to be completely below him, shredding his MR and allowing him to take a lot of damage. This is also why grabbing some Magic Pen can be very, very strong here. Because then Malignance is going to reduce the armor, which then makes the Magic Pen, the flat Magic Pen, work even greater, of course. Right? That's kind of how you want it. Karma also at a ridiculous 50 plus CS lead here. Absolute lane kingdom. After roaming quite a bit as well. Will take the first tower as well. This is something that I've noticed on Karma. Sounds ridiculous. I've noticed this before. You take towers like the first mid lane tower, you take those so easily. Yeah, this is a really good job by Aurelion Sol, though. This gets him a lot of Stardust and a very, very strong trade. This is kind of Karma's weakness. Is her downtime between spells is a little bit too high in order to be a combat mage right now. Which is why the second item power spike is going to be really, really good. Because Hextech Alternator, we're starting off with that item, is a ridiculously strong item. And we are, of course, going to deal increased damage with our Qs now, right? That like single ability poke. Very good. Stardust coming in here for the Aurelion Sol indeed, as the Sky's Descent is available. I'm gotta be a bit careful with that one. As Aurelion Sol's gonna miss a lot of minions, and you can see that Karma taking a little bit of time there in order to kind of preserve the HP of her minions, the enemy minions, a little bit longer, so more of her minions die. And you can see here massive damage. Aurelion Sol prompted to flash instantly. That rotation has been stopped, and that of course kind of creates a setup for a Herald that should be very free. So thinks Bulldog, which is why he's already back in mid, and this is kind of a dangerous scenario, of course, as well, Lee Sin and Rengar might be up to some mischief, but no. We are pushing in the wave, returning back to the Herald. They didn't use their timing. Now we should just walk away. Alright, put your camera into the pocket, Lee Sin. No need to stand there and film the objectives. The KDF special. Just standing there getting out the camera. Look, Mom! They're taking Herald! Oh. Mom never showed up, huh? Alright, Pyke. Meh. Going fishing as he does. But Karma is here to set up. Okay, Milio ultimate has been used. You see Karma is playing this like relatively slow here. As, ooh, this is a dangerous one. Yeah, you can see the Karma HP here coming in very useful, but it's not going to be enough. And yeah, this is kind of the problem. Yeah, I agree with Viego's ping here. Karma was overforcing that just a little bit. As of course, Viego was just not fast enough. As, oh, Bulldog. Yikes. Some question pings going down. Of course, might still get the kill onto the Aurelion Sol here. Yeah, not like this, my guy. Not like this. Yeah, he has not played the Viego Aurelion Sol matchup, I presume, in mid lane. Me, as a Viego enjoyer, of course, has played it multiple times and has killed Viegos, I can confirm, at 4 plates up in this region here and gotten out because Viego is a balanced champion. Yeah, true story, true story. I wasted half of my season playing that. Very smart. As the Viego moment will come in. Lee Sin thought he was making a good play. Let me tell you, matter of fact, he did not. It's Karma going for the... yeah. Going for the kill the enemy under their tower angle here with that bind just tanking through. You can see, right? The shield providing quite a bit of effective HP here as well. Making Viego capable of farming another champion. And we can see here already at this point, we have committed to an item as well. This has been the second item of choice. Most of the time gives you a ton of ability haste and makes your abilities hit very hard. That is, of course, going to be... Ooh, gonna be a little bit careful here. Yeah, Rengar can still put out quite a bit of damage, but the root comes out, and this, of course, can be really good setup for the Viego, who unfortunately started charging his W a little bit too early. Pyke coming in for the collection on 1 kill. The bounty will be shared as Aatrox is looking for the Lee Sin. Lee Sin now very low. Pyke, where are you? Gotta share that bounty. Pyke a little bit too late here. Did lose that ultimate somehow. Oh no, he didn't. Okay, it's just not being displayed correctly. Okay, that's totally fine. As, of course, Viego will collect that Rengar. You can see here the red team, of course, in a commanding lead. Now even top lane is doing well. Top lane was the lane that was initially struggling quite hard. The tower is down, right? Rengar was ahead in items, was ahead in gold. Now that's not so much the case anymore. Of course, very good idea here of Aatrox to group with his team. Aatrox, much less of a selfish pick than Renekton though. Yes, this is Renekton, by the way. He got a new skin. Then Rengar, of course. Rengar, bit more selfish, needs to stay a little bit stronger. Karma decided to, you know what? Top lane tower hasn't been taken. Let me go ahead and do that real quick. As we're going to speed in, try to deal a little bit of damage. But at this point, Aurelion Sol's abilities are already quite huge as well. Lee Sin will pick up a kill onto the Pyke here. Aatrox, gotta be a little bit careful. The healing coming through. The World Ender, still one of those ridiculous tools that can be nerfed like 20 times in a row. Still stay strong, as we will get a team wipe here almost out of the red team. And that, of course, means, yep, we are doing Baron. Now, a little bit of, who's this Baron? Who is this Baron? This is the long-sided Baron, as they called it in the kind of manifesto. This one will, yeah, exactly. This one will kind of prevent people from standing along those lines and will deal more damage to targets the further away they are. It's no joke. It's one of the more creative ones. You can see from the Baron pit too. Kind of weird to take, but of course versus this team it is no problem at all. As here now finally the Horizon Focus has been built. Again, right, you see the ability haste coming through, very useful. And then, of course, the hyper shot has been reduced to 600 range out of 700. It used to be 700 for the last season. Now it is 600. That is a nifty buff specifically for those champions like the Karma, who's not super high ranged. Wayfor himself doesn't really care about this change. Xerath also doesn't care. You know, Kog'Maw mid doesn't care. Victor... not gonna use it, but Victor also doesn't really care about this. But Karma definitely likes this. As now Karma has that Malignance, has that Horizon Focus, and now that Rabadon's Death Cap. And you will see that the damage from this item combo is absolutely ridiculous. Karma's peaking right now. This is the strongest that Karma will be. Now, Karma has a lot of options hereafter. Can go Moonstone, stuff like that. Can go for Staff of Flowing Waters, for example. For the Kai'Sa, right? There's a lot of kind of options. Okay. The skies will descend on to the enemy team as Pyke will be picked up. Would be a shame if this ultimate went down without a trade, though, as Viego will take 1, will take 2, and that is a certified Viego moment. As we will grab the tower and their lives. Okay, very, very cool idea here by Bulldog. Bulldog wanted to preserve the minions that are in tower range so the tower doesn't get the backdoor resistance bonus, which got, you know, buffed quite a bit. Now, 3 Void Grubs available. We will take down that tower. Mid lane is opened. The Nor has been opened. The Nor. However, of course, we're not taking the inhibitor. Taking the inhibitor right now might be a little bit of a bait anyway. It's not really what you want to go, as Bulldog already up to greener pastures here. Did recall, got himself a Magi's pastures. Got himself a Magi's and will be walking into the bottom lane here, pushing out that lane. And now he is hovering towards his team, of course, creating some vision and casually just killing the Rengar. Yeah, run Rengar. The man with the wings has arrived as well. We'll take that one. Very good job, as I mean, Aatrox definitely deserves that kill. He did a whole 200 damage of it. You can see the karma damage ridiculously high, of course. Kind of doesn't look that impressive on the Rengar. Also doesn't look impressive if you miss. Doesn't look that impressive on the Rengar. I'm like looking for the shot where this guy like hits the fucking 80 carry, but unfortunately can't find it. Chemtech Soul coming in now for the red team, as of course this game is completely Joe-ver. As a very good idea here out of the Aatrox. Unfortunately, no one will hold this Aurelion, as we take 1 tower traded for the life of the Pyke here. I'm gonna be a bit careful here. Aurelion Sol. Yeah, Aurelion Sol will give that. We'll give that shutdown to the Viego here already. Very powerful tool, as Viego, of course, gets a free ultimate. Very good. The buffer here from the Viego was he tried to buffer the Lee Sin kick there. And, well, wasn't necessary, but there you go. Back to full life. And, well, a stunning victory. And I think this is a good showcase of what Karma can do at the upper echelons of her performance. So, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next time. And, of course, hopefully, not in the Rift and not you playing Karma, because let's be honest, not a big fan. I'm an Akali player. I don't like Karma right now. But we gotta discuss it, because it's very strong. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay awesome.